does that even mean, Bowers game corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Fog of Love. This is for 2 players. Take about 90 minutes to 2 hours to play, and it's for ages 14 plus. And in Fog of Love, this is the romantic comedy as a board game. So you and another player are going to be characters in a romantic comedy-esque style relationship. You're going to have different destinies that you'll try to achieve. You're going to be going on different scenes that might be drama, they might be sweet, as you navigate your way through a relationship, trying to figure out what exactly are the intentions of your partner, while at the same time trying to achieve your destiny. It's a very unique, very ambitious, very different game, but it's very good. Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Fog of Love. So first and foremost, we have a handy dandy rule booklet. 12 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and it's okay. I honestly can't speak to how well the rule booklet is in learning the game, which sounds really odd because they have a tutorial system that we used. But I came back, I reread this, and we used it for a couple of the later games for setup. And it's okay. I wish it was organized in just a slightly better way. I wish it had a glossary. I think a glossary would really help with this game. And also, you'll notice the text is just insanely small. Just like crazy small, which is really kind of annoying. And there's just like big walls of text. So I wish the rule booklet actually was better. But what makes up for that is the fact that it has a tutorial system, which is absolutely outstanding. So there's going to be a tutorial system that you are going to use, and it'll look something like this, that will walk you through exactly how to play your first game. You just have to set it up in a kind of a specific way. But man, that tutorial system is absolutely outstanding. Probably the best one I've ever played in a game. The only other game that I think I've seen anything like that is an Aeon's End, a game I absolutely love. But this tutorial system is really, really nice. So in Fog of Love, though, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking control of a character, and essentially you're going to be in a romantic comedy. You're going to be going through different scenes. You're going to be going through an overall story, which you will set up at the beginning of the game up here. And you'll get these cards right here. So I know what I want. So this right here is one of the stories. I think this is the last one that they have because it has some interesting aspects. You can break up, and there's... how this works is you're going to set yourself up with a different story. And each of the different stories is going to come in a little pack like this. And I'm pretty sure in the future you'll be able to purchase more of these little packs, so you'll be able to go through different little stories, a la like time stories somewhat, where you're going to have a different plot each time. But this is going to tell you what you need to know about the game. So for instance, the opening, the challenge, the chapter outline, which is how long you're going to play, what cards you'll be able to draw, the finale, how many hearts you're going to get, special rules and notes, destinies that you'll have in your hand, scenes, starting hand, all sorts of various different stuff like that. So essentially it's going to tell you how to start each and every game that you're playing, because games will be different depending on which story you have. Once you've done that, you're going to set up your characters. And your characters are going to be right here. So this is going to be your character area right here. You'll have your little person. They'll start on 10 hearts generally. Sometimes they'll start on 8. It really depends on what the setup is. And then you are going to decide who you are. So you'll get an occupation. So for instance, this time I was a programmer. But that's going to be over here. And each of these cards is going to have a different occupation on them. And that's just going to impact one of your attributes. So for instance, if you're a police officer, you're going to go up on this blue track, which means you would just put one of these on the up arrow of the blue track. Now, those are important because those are how you are going to achieve your goals later on in the game, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. You're also going to have 3 traits in front of you. Now, these are not things that you are going to decide. These are the things that your teammate over here, the other player, is going to decide. They are going to pick the 3 traits in their hand that turned them onto you. The 3 traits that really they liked about you. So for instance, the last game me and my wife played, I had a little bit of fun because I said I really liked the fact you were poorly dressed and that facial scar, that sensuous voice you had. So your teammate is going to decide those for you, and then you are going to take your pink tokens, which you'll have a whole bunch of them over here, and you are going to put them on the corresponding spots on the board. So for instance, I would go down on this one, I would go up on this one, and I would go down on green. So this is what my starting board would look like. Now, you're also going to get these. These are traits. These are things that you're going to try to accomplish at the end of the game. If you're able to do that, you will gain hearts for yourself, which will make you more likely to complete your destinies, because that's what you're trying to do in this game. You're trying to complete your destinies, and we'll talk about those in a minute. So for instance, this one, I'm task-oriented. We need a shared balance of 5 on the... Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5 on the down orange, 3 on the down of whatever this is, down to earth, and then spiritual, we need 3 up on the blue. So individual, shared. Now, at the end of the game, if you have those, then you will gain extra hearts, and you'll put them on your heart track. Next, what you're going to get is you're going to get these poker chips right here. These poker chips are very important. You're going to use these to decide what options you want on scene cards, and we'll go into those in a second. What you need to know: very nice components. Everything in this game is incredibly nice component-wise. So, at the beginning of the game, you're going to start with a certain number of scenes. For this one, I think it's 3, 1, 1. So we'll get 3 sweet scenes, which are generally going to be good scenes. Sweet things happen, because most of the time, if you're in a relationship, sweet things will happen. Some serious scenes, because, you know, serious stuff does happen in relationships. And then, oh yeah, we got some drama, argument at the restaurant. And these are all going to be scenes that you will be acting out or having in your relationship. There is a role-playing aspect to the game. Not every card makes you role-play, but it is present. So next what we're going to do is we're going to flip over chapter 1 and we're going to see what's going to happen. So no kids speed dater. Organizer, ready? Now spend 30 seconds introducing yourself. Then go straight to important stuff. Kids, why don't you want to have children? First, both tell a little about your characters. And most of the time they will start and you'll just say, you know, I'm a programmer, I dress poorly, but that's because I have a sensuous voice, which means I can get by, and I have a facial scar. You know, you kind of fill in the gaps of your characters. There is a little bit of a role-playing aspect, as I mentioned. Then choose your opinions about children below. So A, you know what, kids don't fit my lifestyle. It's that simple. I have a rich life and I won't give it up. B, children were great, but the world is terrible and it's getting worse. I don't want to give them a miserable life. Or C, honestly, I would be a horrible parent. I can't even manage my own life. So then if you match, you get hearts. If you don't match, you get +2. At least we agree that we don't want to have kids. This also tells you that the length of this chapter, this is chapter 1, is going to be 6 cards played in this play area right here. And that also you can draw from the suites. You're going to be drawing all your cards from the suites. The beginning of your relationship is generally going to go pretty smoothly. But once we get to chapter 2 and chapter 3, that's when you'll start adding additional cards, drama cards and serious cards. So what you're going to do on your turn, it's really quite simple. Where'd my scene cards go? Well, I don't know. Thought I had some. You're going to play one of your cards, and you were going to take turns playing one of your cards. And this is going to be the primary thing that you're going to do in this game. This is actually a relatively straightforward game. So, for instance, right here, I might play this one right here. And you play it right up here, face up, and you read it out. Are you thinking about? I bet you're thinking about. Both choose. Player makes a guess about what their partner is thinking. Sex, what we'll have for dinner, a project at work, something sad. And if you match, you both get 2 hearts. Now, if you don't match, you get whatever symbol is over here. Now, this is where the real crux of the game is, because you are trying to guess what your partner is going to choose based on the knowledge or based on what is out here. And as this area fills up with more and more tiles, it will kind of become obvious what your partner is trying to do, and you'd have to try and sync up with what your partner is trying to do. Much as in real life, you're trying to discern what your partner wants based on small little things, which is these little circles out here. So we put this in the play area, and I look down here, and I would look, and I'd say, all right, I definitely don't want to go sex, because sex is up on the orange, and I want down on the orange. In fact, none of these really help me that much. So I might pick C or D. And there's not much information to figure out what my partner's going to do. So you know what? I might just go C right here, and boom, we both flip them over at the same time, and we would do whatever it is. Then you're going to slide this up a little bit, and then the next player is going to draw a scene. You always draw back up to 5, so I draw 1 from the suite deck, because that's what we're going to draw right now. And then you would rinse, wash, and you would repeat. Once you've played 6 cards here, what's going to happen is then you move on to chapter 2. So you read chapter 2 out. So, grandparent, we're so glad that all of us are finally meeting, and we're such a lovely couple. Dear grandchildren, so what are Wow, I can't read today. So, what are your plans in life? Both tell a bit about your 2 present grandparents. Both discard 2 scenes and draw 2 new. A, not to be rude, but we want to live our lives a bit differently than in old days. First of all, we don't want the commitment, like kids. And this is where destinies are going to start coming into play. Now, generally, once you get to these chapters, it's going to tell you to start discarding destinies or getting rid of certain destinies. You're going to put them in your destiny discard, which is over here. And the destinies are going to look like this. This is how you are going to win the game, fulfilling your destiny. So you will stay in the relationship if you're in a love team. So you need to have 6 up on this, a shared balance or more, and the sum of your partner's hearts is 60 or more, and your partner does not break up. And that's how you personally win the game. Unconditional love, you will stay in the relationship. You will fulfill your destiny if you have 4 or more of these individual, and your partner is 40 or more, and your partner does not break up, and break up is one of the destinies in there. So you're trying to fulfill that destiny, but as you're playing through the game, you will be switching out your destiny or potentially deciding which destiny you're going to play because you're going to be having to discard them. At the end of the game, you will choose your final destiny, you'll reveal them, and you will see what will happen. Along the way, there's some other stuff that will happen. There's secrets, and you have like a special little spot where you'll be able to tuck your secrets down here, and if secrets get revealed, various different things will happen. And not all the secrets are bad. Like, you could be just planning a birthday party or something like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some of the secrets can actually help you out. Most of them are pretty bad, though. But anywho, once you've gone through all of the chapters, you will get to what is called the finale card, which I didn't put down here for some particular reason, which will pretty much wrap up everything that you need to do. And from game to game to game, the finale will be different, which is something pretty interesting as well. But that, in a nutshell, is what you're going to do inside of Fog of Love. Alright then, Fog of Love. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 2 players, restricted player count. Also, the game is on the lengthier side. It says 60 minutes to 2 hours. I would say probably closer to 90 minutes to 3 hours. And the game just does not have enough meat on the bones, in my particular opinion, to accommodate that lengthy of a playtime. Now, rule booklet. The rule booklet definitely should have been better. It needs an appendix or a glossary because it's not the most user-friendly rule booklet. It's not laid out quite how you would want it to be laid out. Things are not exactly where you think they would be, so if they had an appendix or a glossary, that would make things a lot easier. Now, that being said, that is somewhat of a moot point because that is a great player aid card, and it has an absolutely outstanding tutorial system, but still, you will find yourself going to the rule booklet, and it's an unpleasant experience going back to that rule booklet, trying to find what you need, and the text is, oh my god, the text is so stinking tiny. The text is just so stinking tiny, and it drives me crazy. Look at that text. There's big walls of text, and it's all so tiny. So yes, the rule booklet definitely should have been better. Continuing on, my main problem that I had with this game is that I felt like I was on a very straight and narrow path in this game, and I did not like that. So in this game, essentially, you're going to have your character, and then you're going to have traits that you were trying to accomplish. You're going to have 1 or 2 destinies that you're probably like, I'm probably going to go for this destiny, or I'm probably going to go for this destiny. And that's your path. That is the path you are going down. And so you're going to play your entire game just walking down this very straight and narrow path. Maybe you might, go to the left side or the right side from time to time to time, but for the most part, you're going to be on the straight and narrow path, and that's what you're going to do. Now, once you get to the 3rd and 4th game, the path widens a little bit when you have the breakup being an option, and you have a little bit more bluffing and some deceptions, and you're going to start playing some of those secrets that I like. But the big problem that I have with the 3rd and 4th game are they're just lengthier than I want them to be. The main problem that I have with this game is, yes, there's a very straight, narrow path, but the gameplay and the time length of this game does not, it does not match up with how light this game is. It's a very light and simple game, and it's just too lengthy, in my personal opinion, for the light and simple nature of this game. Continuing on to the cons, I feel like to get the best experience out of this game, you do need to ham it up. You do need to do a little bit of role-playing, because that will lead to some genuinely funny moments with the other person you're playing with. Me and my wife had some really good laughs in this game as we role-played up to our characters and as we discussed what was going on in these cards. And the cards are fantastic in this game, and I really like the first time you read off these scenes and you have these situations and you talk about it. And if you play this with your significant other, I think that's going to be the highlight of this game for a lot of people. But that being said, if you don't like the role-playing aspect of the game, I think you are going to lose a small chunk of this game that other people would be getting. Another comment I have with this game is that the cards are a little bit of a one-trick pony. Like when you first see the cards, they're interesting, you're going to enjoy reading them, you're going to enjoy discussing them, and I like that aspect of the game. But as you play game after game after game, you're going to start seeing repeats of cards, and as you start seeing repeats of cards, that's when it's like, oh yeah, I remember that card. You don't need to read it off. I know what I'm going to pick. I just want this symbol right here. And what's even worse is when they only have hearts. Some of them will just say, you know, pick A, B, C, or D, and if you match, you get hearts. If you don't match, you lose hearts or something like that. And you're just going to try and remember what you picked last time. So the one that comes to my mind, and this happened 2 or 3 times to us, was we got to a card that was, what would your significant other want in bed? It was like baked beans or waffles or sex or something like that. And we got it wrong the first time, and we talked about it. We're like, oh yeah, I thought you picked this. And we're like, oh, I'm not going to turn down this. And then the next time we got to it, it was like, oh yeah, well, we both know that I'm going to pick this. So this is the choice right here because it's obviously going to get us the hearts. And then the third time that happened, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to pick this one because it's going to give us the hearts. And I did not like that. So the cards have a little bit of a, I don't even know, like a munchkin aspect, where the first time you see them, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I like that card. I like reading that card and talking about that card. But then the second time, it's going to go downhill. It's got a little bit of a joke vibe there. Where the joke's great the first time, second time, not so much, third time, even less. And that is one of the other cons that I have with the game. Another con of this game, it's very repetitive. You're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're going to read the synopsis, then scene, 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 scene. Then you're going to do some stuff with your Destinies, and do some stuff with your Destinies, and now you're going to be drawing different scenes, but you're going to do scene, 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 scene. And then you're going to get to the next chapter, and you're going to read off that chapter, you're going to do some shuffling with your Destinies, and then you're going to go scene, 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 scene. You get what I'm saying here. And then you're eventually going to do your final Destiny, you're going to wrap it up, you're going to see what the points are, and boom, that's the end of the game. And I don't know, there just wasn't enough in this game to keep me actively engaged and keep me interested past those first few games, which is unfortunate. Now, here's the one big caveat I have with this game. I feel like this is a game that as it gets more content and as it gets more material and as that path widens, it's going to only become a better game. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I do think some people are going to enjoy this game. I really do think a good deal of people are going to enjoy this game. And I have a feeling that I am going to be, kind of like how I was with Pandemic Legacy, I'm going to be one of the odd ducks who's like, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of this game, because I'm not going to keep this game. Continuing on to the pros, my wife liked this game, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game. I want to get that right out there. This is a very unique, different thematic experience. And this was one of my top 10 most anticipated games of the year. I was really excited about the proposition of this game, about being in a relationship and trying to make this relationship work and trying to figure out what your partner's doing and trying to do what you're trying to do at the same time. And the mechanisms in this game and the theme in this game go hand in hand very well, and I liked how that worked. But it just didn't do enough for me on a personal level. But this is the pros. Let's talk about this. This game is really different, it's really unique, and I think everybody should try this game at least once. I think it's one of those games where you should give it a whirl just to say that you've given it a whirl, like a Twilight Imperium or a Werewolf, where the theme is so heavy and it's such a different game that giving it a shot, I think everybody should give it a shot. Now, that being said, what else do I like about the game? So, first and foremost, component-wise, components are fantastic. The graphic design is very well done. The board's nice and clean. Aside from that really small text, and the rule booklet should have been better. Components are top-notch. Has a fantastic box insert. It's got dividers. It's got this nice little slide aspect where you slide the box on, which looks really fancy and looks really nice. You know, it's going to be a Walmart exclusive. Poker chips, nice and thick and sturdy. The scene cards, really enjoy the scene cards. You're going to have fun going through all the different scene cards. And as you go through the drama ones, you're going to be like, ooh, drama cards. You enjoy reading the cards as they go into your hands and seeing what your significant other or your partner, whoever you're playing with, what they answer. And I like that aspect of the game. And I really liked the role-playing aspect of the game, hamming various different things up. Because as I mentioned, it will lead to some very funny moments. You know, when you first are starting the game and you're telling the other person the traits that really got you going about them. What are they? Yeah, the features that you really got turned on about by that person. That's a fun aspect of this game. And there is some very fun aspects to this game. Unfortunately, though, The path was too narrow. It's a little bit too lengthy. That player count that I wasn't the biggest fan of. The rule booklet is not fun to go back to. There's just too many small problems in this game, combined with the fact that I thought that path was too narrow for me to really recommend this game to everybody. But that being said, I think a lot of people are going to like this game. And I think this is a game that is worth trying out. I don't know if it's going to be worth a game worth buying for everybody, but I did like the different stories. I did like the different scenarios. I did like the scene. There's a lot to like about this game, but unfortunately for me, there's not enough to recommend this game for. So that is Fog of Love, one that I just wanted a little bit more out of. I wanted a little bit different. I wanted a wider path. It didn't give me that wide path, but that's Fog of Love. If you enjoyed the review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, what was your worst breakup? What's your worst breakup in your life? For me personally, this is a tricky one. Because when you're looking at a worst breakup, you have to look at it from both perspectives. Yourself and the partner. So for me personally, I'm going to go with the worst breakup was, this is so bad. I broke up with a girl while I had, with a woman I should say, while I had a different woman in my car, and I was just like, we can't do anything together. I'm in a relationship. I need to go break up with her. And then I actively drove over to her house, broke up with her, and then, went back to the car. So, that would probably be the worst breakup from the other person's perspective. From my perspective, it was, you know what? It was probably seeing my girlfriend making out with another dude in the woman's bathroom at a bar. That was pretty rough. That was when I was like 22, so whatever, puppy love kind of stuff. But let me know in the comments below. What was one of your worst breakups? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.